All right, in this video we're going to talk about different properties of rectangles, and we're going to apply them to these different problems. So when we talk about rectangles, one of the properties is they are going to have all four of the properties that parallelograms have. Okay, so when we go back and look at our parallelograms, we've got opposite sides congruent, we've got opposite sides are parallel, we've got opposite angles are congruent, and we have that consecutive angles are supplementary. Including these, we're going to add two more to our rectangles. The first one here is going to be that we have 4 right angles. So here, I'm just going to put it at number 2 so we can see it goes with number 2's property. We've got all 4 right angles now. So this is the first time we've had this quadrilateral and parallelogram that has 4 90-degree angles. The other one here is that your diagonals, when you draw in your diagonals like so, here and here, the diagonals are now going to be congruent. So we just put like a little tick marks right there saying each one of these diagonals is the exact same length. So let's go ahead and take a look at some problems, and let's go ahead and we're going to justify our answers by naming what property. I usually name what property I'm using before working it out. Here we're going to be solving for x. So I notice that x is on one side and the opposite side is what we're going to be setting equal to with these congruent marks. So the property here is that our opposite sides are congruent. So that means when two things are congruent, their measurements are equal. So we're going to set this equal to each other. We're going to have 2x minus 4 equals 36. Going through very quickly solving, add 4 to both sides. And then we're going to divide both sides by that 2. It's attached to x. And so x will come out to be 20. All right. Number 2 over here, we're seeing diagonals. Okay, we're seeing a bunch of congruent markings here. And we're told that here AC, so from A all the way to C, this diagonal is going to be 6x plus 3. And DB, all right here, this diagonal is going to be 33. We'll state it up in our properties, number 3 up here. Our diagonals will be congruent. So again, that congruency, set them equal to each other. Solve for x. We have 6x plus 3 is equal to 33. Go through our steps, solve. We're going to subtract that 3. And then we're going to divide by that 6. And then x will be 5. Next, number 3. We're told here that the measure of angle AEB, so from A to E to B, is 12x, and the measure of angle DEC is 10x plus 20. Now, this is not a property of your rectangles other than the fact that you have 2 segments that are going to intersect as the diagonals. But what we need to see here is something that geometry talks about a whole lot, and we have vertical angles. And with your vertical angles, we know that means that they are going to be congruent. Now, also in this problem, they are asking us for the measurement of angle AEB. So in the end, after we solve for x, we're going to have to substitute in, because we want this guy right here. We'll substitute back in for 12x. So let's go solve first. They are congruent. We set them equal to each other. 12x equals 10x plus 20. Okay, quickly solving. Let's get our x's on one side. We got 2x equals 2. I'm sorry, that is a 20 here. So 2x equals 20. And then divide by that 2. X is going to come out to be 10. Now, that's not what we wanted, remember? So we're going to substitute back in. We know that the measure of angle AEB right here was 12x, so we're going to remove x, and we're going to substitute in for x. And we're going to find the measurement is going to be 120 degrees. Okay, so just solving vertical angles and substituting in. Number 4, we are told here that the length of AE right here is 24. And the length of EC is 5y minus 1. The property that we are going to be using here is that your diagonals are bisected. Okay, here we have diagonals bisected. Is another property of the parallelogram. There are a lot of properties of parallelogram. That's one of them. So diagonals are going to be bisected, which means cut in half. And they're going to be, both of these will be congruent. Again, going with that congruency. So here we have 5y minus 1 is equal to 24. Our two real quick steps in solving for y, it's all they want here. Add 1 to both sides. 5y equals 25. Then we divide. And y is going to equal 5. All right, last one for the rectangles to practice here. In this quadrilateral ABCD, we have a rectangle, so we know that all these different things are going on here, all these properties it talks about. They're saying that if the measure of angle DAB, so from D to A to B right here, okay, this is going to be 7x plus 6. We want to solve for x. Well, what do we know about the four angles of a rectangle? As we saw up here on the second property up here, they're all four going to be 90 degrees. So with these right angles, sorry, line's a little funky there. We've got four right angles. All we have to do, if that angle is 7x plus 6, and it's also 90, that means those are equal. So we set 7x plus 6 equal to 90. Our two real quick steps, get rid of that 6. We're going to get 84. 7x equals 84. And then do our division to get x by itself. X is going to come out to equal 12. So several properties of the rectangle, as well as solving and identifying what properties we're using to justify our answers.